All right, let's get started. So thank you everyone for joining in today on our weekly webinar. Our weekly workshops take place every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern and 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we cover a different topic each week. You can register for our weekly workshops and other events through our website under the Events tab. You can also use the link displayed on the screen above. We do post all of our topics in advance, so you have the option to sign up for multiple sessions at once as well. I do encourage you to join as many sessions as possible as a refresher and or to learn tips and tricks on how to make the most of Birdview for your work. With each session, we will start with a demo on the topic we are covering, and today's topic is managing system settings. And we will use the last 10 minutes to go over any questions that you may have. So please feel free to send in your questions in the chat box or Q&A box. So our topic today is managing settings with Birdview. This is beneficial for both administrators and end users, depending on their permission levels. So we will start first by understanding the different types of settings that are available, which we're going to go over system settings and my personal settings. Then we will dive deeper into the company settings and its contents, as well as the My Settings tab. And lastly, we will learn a little more about some of the best practices to follow when managing settings. So first of all, we're going to review company settings. So this is the hub of for all administrators and other stakeholders, depending on their permissions, where they can go in and configure the system. So typically this is done at the start of the configuration. However, as the business continues to evolve, there are changes that takes place throughout. And as an administrator, you can come in to company settings to manage your system. So the very first section that we're going to go over is my account settings. So in account settings under company schedules, this is where you as an administrator defines the company's work schedule. So here by default, we have 8 hours per day. So Monday to Friday, every single day, we have 8 hours of working day. You can manage this and you can change this depending on your organization's policy and update that as necessary. Generally speaking, all the organizations treat weekends as weekends, but some organizations treat weekends as work days. So we have given you the option to enable this toggle so that way Saturday and Sunday will be treated as a work day. Then you have advanced settings, and this is where you can update your logo. So by default, your instance will have either a Birdview logo or an Easy Projects logo. So in order to customize that based on your organization, simply click on the upload button, a new dialog box will open, and you can add a new picture here for the organization. Under visibility settings, this is where you can identify if you want to show portfolios. If your organization is using our portfolios feature, you can enable that here, as well as anytime any user who has access to create new projects, they will automatically have full access to the project. So these two, ideally, we recommend that you keep them enabled. We also provide you with the option of calculating project health. So by default, the SPI and CPI are 1. So SPI is scheduled performance index, and CPI is cost performance index. And this is where you can identify if your project is on schedule and within budget. You can also set your financial settings here by defining the currency that you are conducting your business in. And we have an exhaustive list of different currencies available to you. However, by default, dollar is the default currency here. Notification settings. typically notification settings are always enabled. So once you have enabled this, anytime any member is added to a project or a new member is added to the system, they will get notified. If, let's say, you're configuring the system and you don't want users to have notifications enabled, you can simply disable this toggle here. But out of the box, it is always enabled. Auto archive projects, we do give you the capability to archive projects. By default, it is disabled, and we do that because we want to give you the capability to archive the projects. That way, if there are any straggler items that are left before a project is closed, you can still have that available on your Activity Center screen. If this is enabled, auto archived in 3 months, 6 months, and so on, the system will automatically take that project and move it into the archive section. However, keeping it disabled, we give you that capability to manage that. Dates rollup, again, as the Birdview system works, it is a pyramid structure. So anytime dates are assigned at a child level, tasks which will get rolled up to parent task level, which will then get rolled up to project and portfolio, therefore. So this is where you can enable or disable that. You also have the capability to manually disable dates rollup on specific projects as desired. Security policy, this is your password policies here. So you can predefine the number of characters you want the project passwords to have, as well as any reset policy that you may have. Under payrolls, this is where we provide you the ability to define your work week. When does your work week start? Typically, it is Monday. However, certain organizations start their work week on a Thursday or Friday. So you have that capability here. You can also add overtime rule if you want the system to calculate any overtime spent by the assignees on projects. It will automatically calculate the rate at which you define overtime hours. And then we also gave you the single sign-in options here. So what are the parameters or conditions for single sign-in options? So first of all, single sign-in option is only available for the enterprise accounts. Therefore, team or light accounts do not have this feature or capability. Birdview supports Microsoft Azure single sign-in, and we use the Azure Active Directory. And the conditions to enable this is A, the user must exist in Birdview with the same email address as they are registered in the Azure directory, as well as the single sign-in option is enabled here. So as you can see, the moment you enable this toggle, you will get additional options. And utilizing your IT personnel, you can configure the system to enable users to automatically sign into the system. So the next we have is systems list, and this is where you define various categories, priorities for your projects. So categories are basically additional classification for your tasks, activities, and issues. It allows you to segregate various tasks into different departments or other classifications. Out of the box, you have development, QA, and troubleshooting, but you can add categories as well simply by clicking on Add Category here. Priorities by default, we have low, medium, high, and urgent. You can also add a priority, or you can rename the existing priorities. By default, medium is assigned to all the new projects. However, you can change that as necessary. Under resource loading, this is where we give you a little nice visual on identifying the resource workload. So anywhere from 0 to 20 is 2 hours, which is minimal workload. You can have 50%. 100% is anywhere between 4 to 8 hours, which means the resource is reasonably allocated. And then you've got overtime. You can also toggle between these percentages based on your preference on how you want to allocate, or simply click on Add button here to add a new allocation. Vacation types, this is where you can identify different types of vacations that are observed by your organization. And you can also identify if they are paid or unpaid. To add a new vacation type, simply click on add vacation type here and type in the name. And you can define here if it's a new vacation here, if it's a paid, unpaid, overtime, vacation time, etc. As an administrator, public holidays is a list that you will have to maintain every single year as dates change. But this is where you can go in and add a list of all the holidays your organization observes, and simply click on the date to update the date from previous to current month. Note that vacation types and public holidays will be accounted for when scheduling for resources for projects and tasks. Then we have workflows, and this is where we allow you to have different types of workflows here. So workflows, by default, we have given you open, in progress, ongoing, hold, and closed. And here you can add a new list, or you can define how you want the workflow to interact with the projects and tasks in the front end. To create a new workflow, simply click on add workflow, and here you can say test workflow, and you can continue to add a list, add a status for different types of workflows. And here you can define the colors and also define if it's applicable at a project level, task level, issue, request, or all. And if you click outside, it will simply save your changes. Users. Users is where you go and add new users. So this is where you can see the different types of licenses that your organization has and how many licenses are available. So in this case, as an example, we have 20 regular licenses, we have 10 collaborator licenses, and 1 guest. So this is where you can click in and add a new user. In order to add a new user, you need to have a valid email address, a work email address, their full name, as well as the access level and the job role that you want to give to this individual. Please note before inviting a user to make sure that they are in the right license buckets, because once a user is added to a bucket, you will have to contact our support team to make the change, because collaborator, time tracker, and other licenses are restricted. Only regular licenses are free and full. Click on click on a username, and here you can see different types of information that you can add. So you can assign them a user to a team, you can assign skills, billing rate, and personal schedule. Maybe this person is not going to work 5 days a week. Maybe they're going to work 10 hours a day for between Monday and Thursday. So you can set personal schedule here as well. You can set a user active or inactive here. So if, let's say, a person is going on a short-term or long-term leave and you don't want to you want to free up a license for their substitute, you can simply say inactive and then assign a user. So if you click on inactive here, notice the regular license here changes from 13 to 12. You also have additional capabilities. You can go in here and see all the assigned activities for a user. And also, if a user's job role or access level changes, primarily access level, those changes will take into effect from today onwards, current date and in the future. Any access level that they had in the prior period will retain that information unless you say assign current access level. Once you do that, the permissions granted to this role will be updated for all the historical projects as well. You can also see the security log, rate history, which is like, billing and the internal rate for all the users. Here's a security log on how many times the password was changed, login issues, and so on. And then you can also generate an email password or change password. Note we have delete option here available for you. However, we highly recommend that you don't use this unless you are certain that this the record was incorrect and you need to start fresh. You can always select inactive and cannot log in to free up that record. Job roles are roles that are internal to a user. So this is the role that an individual is going to play at the project level. And you can, again, identify job roles, required skills, what could be some of the hourly rates, etc. Access level is the permissions. So this is what drives a user's ability to function at the front end of the system, right? So out of the box, you have administrator, collaborator, project manager, and supervisor, but you can click and edit the names, or you can copy a certain access level if you want to duplicate the same permissions. Custom fields. Custom fields is a capability that we've provided you to add fields at project level, task level, customer, and so on, to add any additional information that is required for your business purposes. These are very custom and very specific to your business needs and your project management needs, hence these fields. So in order to add a new field, simply click on add, name the field, new field. You can add a description, and we have given you an exhaustive list here to select from different items. So here you can have it at project level, activity level, customer, user, portfolio, expense, and time entry. We also have given you a few options for field type. So whether it's a text, a number, date, checkbox list, hyperlink, multi-select, etc. You can limit custom fields by portfolios as well, because not every custom field is going to be applicable for every single project. So here, if you check on limit by portfolio, you can add portfolios that you want this particular field to appear in. And that way, only the projects that are under this portfolio will have the new field. Customers is where you define or identify customers or clients that you're working with. Some companies use it, some companies don't. It is totally up to you. However, we have given you the option. If, let's say, you have a project and you want to add a customer to the project, you have the capability to do that. So this is a one-stop shop for all your project management and client-related needs. To add a new customer, simply click on Add Customer, and you can add all the relevant information here. Rate cards, we have historically gone over rate cards, but you can use rate cards for billing purposes. So this is where, as an example, if you take Sandtech Engineering, you can define, different types of job roles or people and their rates. And you can also have versions. If you already know that you have a project that is going for 2 years, in the current year, you're going to have, implementation consultant as an example at 200, integration at 275. You can simply say that create a new version of it and change this date to, February 1st as an example. And this rate is going to change to 225. And this will be 300 and 300. So you can set this and predefine these rate cards for your projects in advance. That way, you're reducing the manual entry on your end. This way, system will automatically, on March 1st, it will automatically take the new rates and apply to your on existing projects. Okay, portfolios. So you have the capability to group projects by portfolios, and this does come in handy if you have, different type of projects that different departments that you have, and you can utilize this portfolios option to group your projects together. We also have provided you with the capability to add status to a project. And this is how you can tell if a portfolio is in open, if it's on hold, as in, temporarily do not put any projects in this portfolio, or if the portfolio is closed. So you could have a portfolio with 5 different projects, and that, or a contract that have 5 different projects going on. And then you can, once all those 5 projects are completed, you can set it to closed. And that way, when you are looking at a certain type of portfolio, you will know that this is no longer in use. And simply click outside to save it. As an administrator, you do have the capability to see the vacations of everyone within the organization or within the system. So here, as an administrator, you can view all the vacations for future project planning needs. Note, it is only available for administrators or if there are permissions granted to project managers and such. However, it is primarily for administrators only. Under integrations, here we have given you some ideas or suggestions of what are some popular integrations that Birdview integrates with. However, if you have additional questions regarding integrations, please contact our customer support team, and we will be happy to help you. Feature labs. Here, feature labs, we have enabled for all our clients. This is where we infuse all the new features that are available for our clients. This is where you can enable feature labs options, and here you can test those features and provide us your feedback. And then if you want to continue to use those new features, you can simply let us know. Add licenses. Say your organization or your team is growing and you want to add licenses. You can see different plans that we have available. However, if you're in enterprise, please contact your designated account manager or customer service success team to add additional licenses. So that is it for company settings. We have my settings here. So this is your personal settings. Here you can identify your email. You can reset your passwords. You can also enable notifications and configure how often you want to see notifications and for what type of notifications you want to see. In advanced settings, this is where you can identify if you want Activity Center to be your hub or any other module within the system. And when you are going on vacations, this is where you can add vacations by simply click on the dates and you can add vacation, what type of vacation it is, how long you're going for, is it full day or half day? Oh, if it's a full day or half day. All right, so that is for system settings and managed settings. Let's take a look at some questions that we have. So first question is, are archived projects data used in Power BI dashboard? The answer is yes. The archive projects will appear unless you have filtered the data based on time or period, or if you have a custom report that is configured to not show archived projects. Do vacations affect the project planning? Absolutely, they do. If, let's say, you have assigned a user to a certain task, they will. So let's say, as an example, in resources here, we can go on workload. Let's see if I have an example here. So as an example, Misha, she's going to be away from Monday the 20th to Friday the 24th. So if she's been assigned to a task under workload, you will be able to see that if she's been allocated 4 hours, the 4 hours will be at the front or at the back, and she won't be working during this period. So that way, as a project manager, you can identify, hey, if she's going to be away, can I add another resource here, or how we're going to manage this task? Are collaborator licenses available for Team Edition? I believe they are, but I will definitely double check that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they should be available. Are vacations used for project planning calculations? Yes, the vacations would be used for project planning calculations. If you can elaborate that one a little more, that would be great. The next question is, can an administrator set notifications for other users? So as an administrator, you can only identify if you want to enable or disable notifications system. However, how the notifications will work, like, as a follower, or how many emails do I want to get, how frequently I want to get, and what type of emails do you want the resource to get, they will have to identify that themselves. You cannot define what type of notifications they receive. So I think I would say like that is something that when you're setting up a new user, you can review this with them to make sure their notifications are set up appropriately. Is it possible to have company holiday or vacation calendar that shows all team members and all team members can see it? Currently, no. The only option available is vacations here, and is for administrators. However, we can certainly develop a custom Power BI report that would give you the exact same information and will be available to other users as well. Again, those custom reports will be based on permission settings. Does the start and end time also check vacations? So there is no particular time per se. We use the start and end for, sorry, does the start and end time also check vacations? No, so time does not get impacted. It is only in days, if that's what you're wondering. Yeah, so you can start you can have, you can start your vacation in the morning, but it's going to count for the whole day. From a project's perspective, no, again, it won't. We do not specify times. We only use vacations like the start and end on a daily basis, on a day-to-day basis. No time. All right. I guess that is it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for joining in our session today. And our next week's webinar is on project snapshots and how you can share, create and share project plans and snapshots with internal and external stakeholders. On August 15th, we will review how to customize project rate cards with Birdview. And yeah, if you have any questions, any suggestions for topics, please feel free to send in your emails to success email. And that is displayed on the screen right here. Again, thank you for your time today, and I hope you have a great week. Take care. Bye.